House of the Dragons season 2 episode 2, and just don't listen to any of the critics. This is one of the finest episodes of House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, everything. This is one of the finest episodes I have watched. It was spellbounding. The acting, the intrigue, the conspiracy, and everything was moving so fast, yet it was so believable. I'm not going to go ahead and give the spoilers. I do know that many people are shocked. Whoever has watched the first episode, they are shocked by what happened at the end. We all House of the Dragons fans were believing probably this plot point will arrive much later in the show, because they had a lot of intrigue and things going on before that. But hats off, kudos to the showrunners to bring this horrifying incident to the forefront and use it as a catalyst for the later events. So, I'm not going to go ahead and disclose, because if anybody hasn't watched the first episode, it is going to be quite let down if I tell you exactly what happens in the first episode of House of the Dragons. But it is very shocking, and it really kind of expedites or moves the show into high gear. And I'm telling you, it is not stopping now. It is very interesting. The characters are very believable and likable and dislikable, and it is moving on the rails so fast. I would just say that the last time I actually went ahead and watched history, or this is probably historical fiction, but at the same time it is a genre just like that, was when I watched Elizabeth of Shekhar Kapoor, and that was a movie. And this is exactly that kind of writing which I'm so pleased with it, because if you watch it, you will understand there's a little bit of Shakespeare thrown in, there's a little bit of intrigue thrown in, the characters are behaving exactly the way they should, and you've got all these interesting moments all coming together and creating a very interesting affair. In the last season, we still had certain episodes which I felt were a little cringeworthy, but here in the first episode of House of the Dragons, we all felt that yes, it was kind of dragging, and then suddenly in the final minutes of episode 1 something happens, and it completely blows the rail of this movie. And it was amazing. It was amazing, very tragic, but it is an amazing thing which the showrunners have done. I salute them. Right now, House of the Dragons is the number one show in the world. If you're missing it, you're doing something criminal. This episode 2, I would say, if I kind of compare it with all the Game of Thrones episodes and all the House of the Dragon episodes, I would keep it at the top 10. This episode 2 of season 2. I cannot say which number it is at, but yes, there are of course a lot of episodes in Game of Thrones which are my personal favorite, but this one just was brilliant. I loved it. I simply loved it. It was very heart wrenching. The background score, the music, when it starts with violin, a lot of kind of a plaintive violin tune, and to show the kind of sorrow in the palace courtyards. And it was there's only one major complaint I have with this episode. I feel that there are certain times the show can actually deviate from the main storyline, right? Or they can actually try and make do something interesting. But here in the in the second episode, they had a moment at the very end which could have made this show very interesting, and uh, they did not go ahead and capitalize on it. I was kind of shocked because the moment that happens, and I can just say that it's a kind of a fight of a brother against another brother, and when you watch it and when it ends, it actually goes ahead and creates a classic Bollywood moment which we all love, and they squander it. They completely squandered it at the end, and that is the only complaint I have with this episode, because they could have done something very interesting which could have probably deviated from Martin's vision, George Martin's vision, but that would have brought a lot of innovation and interest within this series. Because you see, we need to understand one thing: Game of Thrones, everything was followed to the T till the final season, right? We all hate the final season, we don't like it at all, but at the same time, we used to keep on gobbling it up because we didn't know what was going to happen next. In all the episodes before the final season, we more or less knew, because the person who has read the books, he knows. But here in House of the Dragon, you should try to go ahead and create some interesting deviations within the show which can actually make the show or the story better. And when you go ahead and squander that, that is not that is a very foolish thing to do. And I think you will all get it, because I'm not going to go ahead and give the spoiler, but it was something which they could have used quite well, and they did it. All I can say, House of the Dragons season 2 episode 2 is an absolute masterpiece. Don't miss it at all. And if you have not got on board, if you are not watching House of the Dragon season 2, you are doing something criminal. It is available on Geo television. You just have to pay 29 bucks per month to watch this. Just go ahead and watch it. And the beauty of it is, you don't have all the 8 episodes for binge watching. I don't like binge watching at all. You have to wait for a week to watch one episode, and that is a format I love, because that goes ahead and makes you cherish a show rather than just gobbling it up like a fast food. And that is what House of the Dragon is all about. Don't miss House of the Dragon. Soon we are going to have the we are going to have the dragon fights, and I think those are going to be incredible. I can't wait for the dragon fights. Those will be out of the world. So this is the coolest show to watch, with some of the most intriguing, interesting characters. I'm not going to go into all these characters, because every time I go into a story, I will be giving a spoiler. But what I can say is, the direction, the editing, the background score, the adaptation is out of the world. It is out of the world, and you shouldn't and you mustn't miss it. And yes, it has already started with all the shocks, all the awe, and it's my advice to you all is, you better watch it rather than being told by someone, hey, you didn't watch last night's episode, you know what happened, this happened. You'll hate yourself for that. So watch it before someone tells you exactly what's happening there. And it's brilliant. It's really brilliant. They are realizing George Martin's vision to the T, and I think if this is the way House of the Dragon evolves, it is going to develop or create a cult following bigger than Game of Thrones, and it will of course, we all know what happens at the end of House of the Dragon. People who have read the books, they know. Uh, so we know, all of us know, and we are just hoping that they introduce some deviations which make it more interesting. Thank you, everyone. Do watch House of the Dragons season 2. Start watching it. Episode 1, episode 2 already available in Geo Television, 29 rupees per month. Bye. Take care.